Honourable Members, prayers. Almighty God, we humbly beseech thee to look with favour upon this Parliament of the Youth Government System of the International Youth Network for UN Security Council, Resolution 2250. Grant that it may perform its high duty, as in thy sight. Give divine guidance to the youth president and his youth ministers. Endow youth members of Parliament with discernment and vision, integrity and courage, that through the labors of this international youth network, the interests and wishes of members may be well and truly served, and their good purposes for the common human life be realized in our midst. O God, grant us a vision for our network, fair as it might be, a network of righteousness, where none shall wrong his neighbor, a network of plenty, where evil and poverty shall be done away with, a network of brotherhood, where all success shall be founded on service and honor shall be given to the deserving, a network of peace, where the youth government system shall rest on the will of its members and the love for the common good. Bless the efforts of those who struggle to make this vision a living reality. Inspire and strengthen our people, that they may give time, thought, and sacrifice to speed the day of the coming beauty of the youth government system of the International Youth Network, Ghana and Africa. Amen.
Amen.
Honourable members, I welcome you to the sixth sitting of the Youth Parliament of the International Youth Network under the Youth Government System. Today's business is mainly to receive speeches from the youth president, the country head, the global president. And the second is to debate the motion tabled before the House. The third is any other business that may emerge during proceedings today. Honourable members, we will now proceed with introduction from members online. So, in no particular order, I'll call members to introduce themselves for the attention of the House. You have to introduce yourself with your name and constituency. And if you have any other role in the youth government system, or you're not a youth MP, but you hold any other role, you introduce yourself accordingly. So, as I stated, in no particular order, I'd like us to start from Honourable Gideon. Yes, Honourable Gideon, please unmute yourself and introduce yourself.
Thank you, right, Honourable Speaker. My name is Gideon Julius, Youth MP for Anglo Constituency, and the Deputy Majority Leader for our Noble Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Agumbila. Yes, Honourable.
Good evening, Honourable Members.
Good evening.
Agency. Thank you.
Please proceed to introduce yourself.
Yeah, good evening, Honourable Members. My name is Agubila Hamidu.
Right, Honourable Speaker. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm Agubila Hamidu.
Yes, Honourable Agumbila, please finish your introduction.
Yeah, my name is Agubila Hamidu.
Okay, Honorable Al Hassan. Yes, Honorable Al Hassan. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm Honorable Al Hassan Sindon Yoka, Youth MP, Sisala East Constituency.
Thank you very much. Ms. Angela.
My name is Angela Bensa, and I'm the Deputy Operations Clerk Officer.
Thank you. Honorable Dowipo. Honorable Dowipo W. Let's go to Honorable Evans.
Yeah, good evening, Honorable House. My name is Evans Kofi Aboa, Youth MP for Asin Central Constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Joseph Christian.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, Right Honorable Speaker, and good evening, House. I am Honorable Joseph Kwesin, the Youth MP for Hunter West Constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mabel Marfo.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So I am Mabel Marfo, and I'm here as an observer.
Thank you very much. Ms. Flexi.
Good evening, Honourable Members. My name is Irene Teddy-Swanika.
Thank you.
I am the Youth MP for Efutu constituency. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Princess Aqua
Hello.
Thompson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Good evening, honorable members. I'm Princess Aqua Sampson, the Youth MP for Ablikuma West constituency. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Samson Sechofia.
Thank you, Speaker. My name is Samson Setrafia, Youth MP for the good people of Afajato South, and I am the majority leader of the House. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Travis Gray.
Good evening, honorable members. My name is Carlos Nanakujo Travis Gray, the Youth MP for Hohoe constituency.
Okay, thank you very much. I think everyone present currently has introduced themselves. So proceed with business. Leader of the House, do you have business committee statement to give?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I can just mention a few because of timely scheduling of the business due to the unforeseen circumstances we have recently. However, I can mention a few in the order by which you mentioned earlier. Addressing, you first have So we'll first take, as we've done introduction, we'll have address from the global president, and then we are also honored to be addressed by the country head. And from there, we have the debate on the motion, of which we will be taking few contributions from both sides. After that, we have statement. We have one statement for today's sitting. We have no petition, and there are no motions. And then from there, we'll have, if any member have any business for the house, and then the house will adjourn. So that is basically few business we have for today. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, the leader of the House. Honourable members, any comments on the business committee statement? I think Honourable Thomas has his hands up. Let's hear you, please.
Good evening, Right Honourable and the House. Please, as the introduction, I didn't hear my name.
Please introduce yourself.
I'm Yuka Thomas, MP for Laura constituency.
Is he done introducing? Okay, I'll take it as such. I think we have lost him on the network. So, honourable members, business committee statement. Any comments? In the absence of any comments, proceed. In the absence of any comments, the business committee statement stating the business for today is duly adopted as business to be transacted. Honourable members, we'll move straight to statements. I'm not sure the people to give their addresses are here. So go ahead straight to statements, and if they come after the statements, we'll receive them. So let's go straight to statements. Leader, statements.
Speaker, thank you for indulging me to read a statement on the rising tension between Israel, the United States of America, and Iran. I rise to draw the attention of this honorable House to the growing tensions in the Middle East involving the state of Israel, the United States, and Islamic Republic of Iran. Right Honorable Speaker, recent military exchanges and retaliatory actions between these states have heightened global security concerns and raised fears of wider regional conflict. The humanitarian implications are equally worrying as civilians continue to bear the consequences of escalating hostilities. Mr. Speaker, conflicts of this nature remind the global community that peace, dialogue, and diplomacy remain the most sustainable pathways to resolving international disputes. Right Honorable Speaker, while this Honorable House may not be a direct actor in the situation, it is important that we lend our voices to the global call for restraint, de-escalation, and peaceful engagement among the parties involved. Right Honorable Speaker, peace anywhere strengthens stability everywhere. I thank you for your attention, and I thank you, the Honorable House, for your attention.
Thank you very much. But leader, I think the statement was too brief. Perhaps members need an acclimatizing of what exactly is going on. So perhaps if you could be a little bit more detailed, I would appreciate that.
Okay. The statement is indeed brief. You know, I had this statement because this is a house of records. I had intended to read this statement long ago, as this crisis have emerged in the Middle East. However, we never had the opportunity to sit until I think this day. That is why I want to bring the House attention to the rising tension between the United States and Iran, of which I strongly believe that members of this House are aware. So I can just take it if you want me to elaborate and take it once more before we take comments, if you can indulge the House, because it's very brief.
Okay, then instead of reading exactly what you read again, you could give your opinions on it before we take comments.
Very well. Okay. So the International Youth Network for United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250 believes in diplomacy and also believes in dialogue. And so, having heard the crisis between Israel and Iran and subsequent intervention and jointly by the United States of America, it is also prudent for the youth government system to lend our voice to the national call. And so we can condemn some of the acts should we have the United Nations Charter that I believe, which is the international law that we all believe in. We must be able to go diplomatically in this crisis to resolve and maintain peace within our region. But it is rather unfortunate that we resolve into war, and then this is destroying livelihoods. And then I think it is important that bringing it to the floor, members who certainly have share their opinions on the happening. Many people have studied international relations, and many people are studying international laws and diplomacy and all that. Having their thoughts on this matter, I believe that it will help the House to draw a resolution or see the way forward, as the International Youth Network also believes in dialogue or diplomacy. So it is a call for the House to first inform the House that this is the happenings officially, and then going forward as a country and as a network, we are not only limited to our region, but then there are few things as it's happening. We know the impact it could probably have on our country. You know, when this conversation earlier started, there are few debates coming into our economy based on our energy source of all that. I studied a bit into energy, and so I know some of the causes that this conflict would lay on our economy through our energy sector. So I believe that when you say it doesn't matter, it really matters. That is why it is peace anywhere is actually strengthening stability everywhere, because we might say it's not happening in Ghana. However, the impact is going to strike our economy. So, Speaker, on this note, I think I have highlighted. I'll leave it open for members to also have their bite. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, members, the floor is open for comments on the statement. Anyone wishing to make comments on the statement can raise his hand, and I'll call you to speak. Comments on the statement, honourable members. I guess no member has a comment. Honourable members, as you already know. Okay. Honourable Gideon.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity. You see, today, the majority is fully prepared. When the opportunity was given for comments, I expected a member of the minority, at least, even though the majority will always have their way. We want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they have their say. But then, as long as their silence is here tonight, maybe they don't have much to say, and we expect that in the future they shouldn't have much to say. Mr. Speaker, I would say that this war that is happening today in the Middle East is something that Africa or Ghana is displeased about. Others call it a war of aggression, and anyone can name it. But then, Mr. Speaker, as an association which looks at peace and security, Mr. Speaker, our call from the majority is that let the parties engaged in this war prioritize dialogue, prioritize diplomacy. Because, Mr. Speaker, we have Ghanaians in the diaspora, some of which are youths that are hustling to get bread to put on the tables of their families. We have others as students that are in other countries. Mr. Speaker, even we were informed that our former Vice President, His Excellency Mahamadou Bawumia, and the wife had to be evacuated back to Ghana to safeguard their lives. Mr. Speaker, this shows the depths of the effect that this war is having on us as individuals. Mr. Speaker, I want to put it on record that if today this war still continues, Mr. Speaker, it is surely taking us to the third reports shows that there are other big economies, superpowers that are supporting this war from behind. But Mr. Speaker, this shouldn't be what we as human beings want, because people are dying, human beings are dying, properties are being lost, lives are being lost. Mr. Speaker, even the Holy Scripture says that when Christ was praying, he said that, "Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Let thy kingdom come." The will of Christ for us is that the kingdom of Christ will come on it. So, Mr. Speaker, I end by saying that the will and the mind of God for us is to have peace and live in unity. And so, Mr. Speaker, I support the statement of the majority leader to call for de-escalation and to call for dialogue and peaceful resolution to prevent further instability and loss of lives. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gideon. Honorable Evans.
Thank you, Honorable Mr. Speaker. Yeah, so in commenting on the statement, I think what I wanted to say was regarding our energy crisis in terms of poor costs at the pumps. We can all attest that currently the shocks have already been experienced in our country. And so I want to take this opportunity to ask our Minister of Energy to help us, find a solution, a lasting solution to this shocks that are coming in and then being experienced. Because currently, the most transport unions are trying to, increase fares, and we know that in this country, once fares are increased, automatically everything increase. Automatically, inflation is about to go up and everything. And I don't believe with the current gains that we have achieved as a country, we'd want to see all those go into the drain just because of some external shocks that we are experiencing. So I want to, in commenting on this statement, I want to, urge our minister and then our government to also try and then put their hands to work and then get a lasting solution to this shock that we are already experiencing. And then if there's any incentives they can add on, some are even asking for the scrapping of the 1 cedi levy that was placed on fuel pumps so that at least we can be able to cushion the end users of our this energy stuff. So I think it's something that the government should consider, and then in commenting on this, that's what I want to say. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable Al Hassan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Yes, before I comment on the motion, I would like to apologize for my records in this house hasn't been good. I think I've just joined the meeting today, and I believe the house has already been formed, and that is, I just look at naive as to whether which side I should belong. I'm just like let me say an independent candidate for now. But Mr. Speaker, let me thank my honorable member for bringing this to our notice. I think it's a serious challenge. Some people might think that, oh, this is happening far away from Ghana, but today I've just listened to Joy FM, and I've heard the fuel prices will be increased again. The MPA is already handicapped. That is the challenges we are facing because of US, Israel, and Iraq war. Iran, rather. I think that one of the reasons for the United Nations Security Council resolution is to ensure participation and to also ensure that we protect other people. We should ensure that at least education and economic activities are able to move on peacefully in every country. And looking at what is happening in Iran now, in US now, Israel, I think education will become a problem in certain areas. We've heard some places have been bombed, some schools have been bombed, and that is one of the things that we are trying to prevent. But as it has happened already, my co-honorable has already elaborated it, that we should ensure dialogue. And sitting here today, I think that we have to begin the dialogue from here before we can extend it to the international community. Yes, certain measures should be put in place as this war is happening. We should be able to at least take care of ourselves. We should be able to ensure peace in our country. Then we see how we extend it to the affected countries. Mr. Speaker, I think this is something I also have to add to the House this evening. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, I think that's everyone who wishes to comment on this subject matter. May I say that no one is interested in having the Third World War emerge. It appears we have a psychopath president leading the most powerful nation in the name of Donald Trump, who entered office with the vow to stop wars. Unfortunately, he's the one fueling new wars. It is rather unfortunate that sovereign countries are invaded and their presidents are taken into custody on fraudulent basis. We don't want these wars coming up because it distorts the peace of life. It really distorts the peace of life. I'd like to humbly call on the United Nations to put President Donald Trump to order. Well, in any case, by 2029, he'll be out of office. The United Nations, the United States of America as an institution is stronger than any single person. So if they cannot put him to order, well, after this, by 2029, he will go out of office. But so much harm would have been caused by them. So such a person should be called to order. I think he's crazy. Initially, we thought Joe Biden was an issue, but Charlie, this man is worse in the sense that he thinks he has money, so everything should be done like he pleases. But no. Running a country calls for diplomacy and decentness in terms of presidential protocol. This man has none. This man is just terrible. And JM's second coming is nice, but this man, I think he should have stayed home. Maybe Kamala Harris would have been better. But with Kamala Harris, we'll be having gay matters coming up. Everyone and their consequences, my people. So I thank the leader for bringing this to our attention, and we pray that this crisis stop by the emergence of time. Thank you very much. Honourable members, we don't have our guest here. I don't think any of our guests is here. Is the youth president here? Maybe he's here, but we don't know the line that he has joined with. If it's not here, then I think let's move straight to debate. After debate, if these people are still around, we can still, or anytime they join, we can listen to them. So let's move straight to the debate. Leader of the House, introduce the motion.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker and the August House. Speaker, before I introduce the motion, I feel like today I'm not feeling the presence of the minority in the chamber. This evening I don't want to be too mischievous, however, because my deputy will be the one to lead the debate because myself caught up with something at the moment. But then it just seems like the minority's presence is not being felt today in the chamber at all. I don't know who is the available leader on their side. It is quite unfortunate. But I'm throwing it as a challenge to them to to get to business because the majority has not come to play with the motion at all. So I believe that it will serve them right to present, to prepare themselves for the motion. Having said that, I'll go ahead to move the motion. An interesting motion. Um, an interesting motion. And the motion reads, Mr. Speaker, this Honorable House supports the establishment of a value for money office bill to curb contract inflation and ensure uniform pricing across all government projects. Mr. Speaker, Ghana is a developing country of which our democracy is being tested, especially when it comes to the legislative aspect from our 8th parliament to the 9th parliament. The peak of it, I would say, is the 8th parliament, for those of us who quite follow parliamentary procedures. However, the introduction of this bill to Parliament has brought joy to some of us, and especially all those who believe in accountability, transparency, and not leveraging on public office for personal gain. What we see today is that a teacher, I'm making a scenario, who has been in classroom for 10 years cannot be matched to any person, any political appointee who has been appointed for a 4-year term, all in the name of political appointment. When you match the salaries, you might not really see the difference, but you see their net worth. You see the difference in their net worth. And this raises serious concern to our democracy. It really pushes people to lose trust in the democracy that we are practicing. Actions of office holders, public office holders, have put holding public offices into disrepute, and that when anybody is being appointed into public office, now the assumption is that you're also going for personal gain. And for that matter, I think this motion is a very good one for us to debate this evening. And I believe that the minority will also toe the line to the motion, and not for everything that they object because they are minority. I know if the minority leader, my able friend, is listening to me, I expect him and the whip to whip the minority caucus to support this motion. And at the end of the day, we'll build a consensus and adopt this motion, because it is a heartbeat and it is the center of our democracy. For us to uphold the democratic principles of this country and hold public office holders accountable and measure whatever they do, we must not always allow them to finish. When they are done, the Auditor General's report will come. We'll refer them to the Public Accounts Committee. And we'll let it slide. I believe that is what we've been practicing for the past. And that is going to ensure you will not go and pay and spend it. When you are done, you collude with the Auditor General, you collude with the Attorney General for not being prosecuted because you have so-called documents and receipts to show for it. So, Mr. Speaker, The honorable
Question.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Please, the motion has been made and then duly seconded. Now we can now debate the motion. So, honorable members who are ready should just raise up their hands and then I'll call them.
Speaker, can I go ahead?
Yes, please, you can go ahead.
Okay. So I'll love to make the majority is ready to take the opening statement.
Okay.
Majority is ready to take the opening statement. The deputy leader will do that on behalf of the caucus. Then
Okay, that's fine.
followed by
So
the
the
members of
deputy,
the majority caucus.
that's fine.
How
So the
before
deputy
before I
majority.
land, Mr. Speaker, I'm not happy this evening because I don't know whether I should refer the minority leadership to the privileges committee, but I will leave that for now. I'll abandon that for now. I'll come back later. So, Mr. Speaker, the deputy leader is ready to take the opening statement from the majority.
Okay, let him proceed.
Thank you. Right Honourable Speaker. Once again, my name is Agoha Julius, the youth MP for the good people of the Anglo constituency. Tonight, I rise as a deputy majority leader to support the motion that this House establishes value for money office to curb contract inflation and ensure uniform pricing across government projects. Mr. Speaker, in a developing country like Ghana, where the demands on public resources far exceed what is available, the efficient use of every cedi is not optional. It is essential. Yet, time and time again, we are confronted with the harsh reality of inflated contracts, inconsistent project pricing, and significant financial leakages within our procurement systems. Mr. Speaker, this is not merely about cutting costs. This motion, it is not merely about cutting costs, but Honourable Speaker, it is about promoting accountability, enhancing transparency, and ensuring equity in national development. When prices are standardized and contracts properly evaluated, we eliminate arbitrariness, we reduce corruption, and free up resources for critical sectors such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Right, Honourable Speaker, as the majority leader, as the majority, we stand for fiscal discipline, responsible governance, and result-driven development. This motion represents a decisive step towards safeguarding public funds and restoring confidence in government expenditure. Right Honourable Speaker, I respectfully urge this Honourable House to support this motion in the supreme interest of our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Majority Leader. Now, shall we receive the opening statement from the minority? The minority leader or any member appointed by the minority caucus can give us an opening statement. Honorable House, please, I don't want to believe that this sitting today is mainly for the majority caucus. Honorable Julius.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's obvious that a House of Parliament, which comprise of majority and the minority, tonight as we are seated here, we don't have a representative or a member to speak on behalf of the minority caucus. Mr. Speaker, I don't know how to term this, but Mr. Speaker, I humbly request that the majority leader and his members to be cautioned, because this is a house, this is our honorable house, and we expect the best from the minority. So please, Mr. Speaker, I kindly send a word of caution to my colleagues in the other side of the house that they should prepare and come, let's debate. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gideon. Honorable Evans Yeboah, let me hear from you. Honorable Evans Yeboah.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, so is it possible to rise against the motion?
For
so basically, I have a few tips on the motion, right? And
okay, so are you from
wanted to
the
know if
majority?
I'm able to speak. Is that?
Honorable member, are you from the majority side of the house or the minority?
Well, someone from the
Honorable Yeboah, I want to understand if you are from the majority caucus or the minority caucus.
I think he can still proceed.
Okay. Honorable Yeboah, you can proceed. Oh, okay. Honorable Yeboah is gone. So let me hear from Honorable Al Hassan. Honorable Al Hassan, the floor is here now yours.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. Yes, before I just comment, I earlier on made it known to Speaker that my records are not known in the house, so I've just joined the house. I've not been sworn in or put in any side of the house, so I don't know whether I can just join any side and also start to make my inputs. Thank you. Thank you.
Honorable Al Hassan, please, you can make your inputs before the House.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for the opportunity. As the majority side has already make their intentions clear that today was going to be a hot day for minority, but the minority is silent. So I rise before that, Honorable Al Hassan Sindon Yukwa, the youth MP for Sisala East constituency. I rise to speak on behalf of the minority leader. I think that in the country, we all want corruption or anything that is regarding the development of our country to go on well or to be efficiently managed. And value for money office coming into place now, it is not new. I know very well that the Public Procurement Authority Act 203 seeks to ensure that everything we are doing is in order, and that is their role. And there is also an office, IYOKO, who is in charge to ensure that at least if things doesn't go well, they investigate and prosecute them. All these offices seeks to work to curb corruption. So now, we know very well that the country, as we speak, let me say, is financially handicapped, and there's the need to at least increase or create employment opportunities for Ghanaians. I think that this new office that is coming, it looks good on paper, but there are already offices that I think can ensure that there is value for money in Ghana. So if we bring value for money office, which also seeks to ensure we reduce corruption and efficient use of public resources, I don't think it's a new thing. So for me, it's just another way to create an office for party boys. But I don't think this will change anything as a country. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the minority, I think that we need to go back to revise our PPA, the Public Procurement Authority, and then the Economics, Crime and Organized Labor Office to ensure there's value for money in everything we do in the country, but not to create another office. So for me, the office will not be efficiently utilized or it will not be used for the purposes for which it is created. So the majority leader should calm down. We know the antics. It is not any thing to create a office to ensure that we reduce corruption and things. But we need to change ourselves. The office has no new addition to us for me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Alhassan. The floor is yours. Honorable Gideon.
Thank you so much, Right Honourable Speaker. I listened to my colleague, Honourable Hassan, and all what he said. But Mr. Speaker, this bill, I want to put on record, as my colleague has mentioned, that it is an office for the boys. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask that my colleague should observe clearly and then watch this office even as it is implemented. Mr. Speaker, this kind of office is not a new thing in the world. Right, Honourable Speaker, we have a similar office in the United Kingdom. We have a similar office in Canada. We have a similar in Singapore and Slovakia. Even the United States has established the statutory frameworks such as National Audit Office. In the United Kingdom, the value for money audit manual is there. So, Right Honourable Speaker, why should my honourable member say that this office is not necessary, and then it is just an office created for the boys? Mr. Speaker, we were all in this country when we saw about 97 million US dollars given to Ghanaians under the National Cathedral. Have we seen any value for that money? Mr. Speaker, this kind of bill or this kind of office is a proactive measure this government is taking, not for us to sit and then wait for people to waste our resources before we start pursuing them. No, this office will look at every CD that is being signed under every contract for us to make sure that every CD that is being given out to any contractor for any project, Ghanaians see the benefit of it. Mr. Speaker, this is basically what this bill intends to achieve. Mr. Speaker, my colleague also said that the audit service and then the Public Procurement Act and all those things. All those acts mainly focus on procedures that has to be taken for contracts and monies being allocated. If my honourable member can get time and look at those bills very clearly, those offices or the bills that gives the authority for those offices to function never mandated any of them to request for the value for every CD being given out. They only gave procedural approaches to how contracts can be awarded and how procurement can be done, but not to investigate, and not those offices haven't been mandated to request for every CD to give value to the people of Ghana. So, Mr. Speaker, this is an office that is being new in Ghana that our people or the minority had to support, because this current administration is keen on fighting corruption. We all know how dangerous corruption is to us. And so I urge my colleagues in the minority and all other members in this house to support that this bill is being passed and this office is being implemented. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Gideon. Okay, let me hear from Miss Flezzy. Miss Flezzy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Fellow honorable members, I firmly oppose this motion that this honorable house supports the establishment of a value for money office. At first glance, this proposal appears very logical, perhaps even necessary. But upon a closer examination, it is not only flawed in design, but it's potentially dangerous in consequence. Let me begin with a fundamental question. Can value truly be standardized? Please, I want to look at this first point, the illusion of uniform pricing. Honorable members, the idea of uniform pricing assumes that all government projects operate under identical conditions. This is simply not real. If we will all agree to this, let's look at this example. Are we saying that with regards to uniform pricing, a road that is constructed in a flood-prone rural area can be compared to one that is constructed in an urban center? Are you telling me we are going to have possibly the same structure or identical structure or way of going about the pricing for these two different roads? A school project in a district with poor logistics will naturally incur a higher transportational and labor cost compared to one in a city. So this is not real. To impose uniform pricing is to ignore one, geographic variability, material accessibility, 3, security risk, and lastly, local labor dynamics. Please, these are things we have to look out for. We can't say we are accepting this bill. It won't hold. I want to give one more, if not maybe 2 more points before I say my goodbyes. I want to ask this question. Establishing this office, will it incur costs? Are we thinking of salaries, infrastructure, technology systems, trainings? We must ask, how much will this office cost the taxpayer? And more importantly, will it cost more than the inflation we seek to prevent? I want us to look at another thing. In fact, I don't even want to. Okay, let me go to this. Do we know that this office we are intending to bring up can be used politically as a weapon? A centralized pricing authority can easily become a political tool. One, contracts can be delayed for political opponents, fast-tracked for allies, and selectively scrutinized. And that this undermines not only efficiency but also democratic fairness. Is this what my majority is shouting about that we should go for? Okay. I want to ask one last question. before we go on. Okay, let me talk about corruption. Bureaucracy does not eliminate corruption. It often relocates it. What we are doing here is basically shifting corruption from the contractors to the regulators. So the contractors are inflating their budgets and all their projects proposals they bring. So we want to bring it to the office. There are two things we are talking about here. Bringing it to the office. Now, instead of the contractor being able to inflate it, now the office people will take it up. And then what happens is when you create a centralized value for money office, you create power in a single entity. You create another approval bottleneck because now all forms of contract has to go through one channel, and approvals and everything we have to all sit and wait. But now it's decentralized. We all have to sit for one person to say yes before we all start working. Is that what we are asking for? You introduce a new layer of vulnerable and valuable to lobby and influence. That's a new way we are bringing about for lobbying and all those things. Are we ready for all that? Are we up for that? Please, my honorable members, let's rethink this. I think there are more ways we can do this than wanting to set this up. Let's rethink. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, and my honorable members.
Thank you, honorable
I think I
member.
didn't introduce myself. I intend if we
Yeah,
constituency from the minority.
please come again.
I said I didn't introduce myself. I
Yeah,
intend if we constituency from the minority caucus.
that's fine. All right, thank you very much, honorable. I'll now hear from honorable Gideon. The reason why I am calling him is because this sitting he is the deputy majority leader. So anyone who is debating from the minority and he is coming on board, since he is a leader, that's why I need to recognize him as such. So I want to make this clear to the whole house. Now let me hear from honorable Evans. Honorable Julius. Honorable Julius, let me hear from you.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I listened to my colleague. Uh, I actually admire her, her courage because we are actually empowering a lot of our women, young women in Ghana to speak. And so I acknowledge and admire her courage. But as Honorable Speaker, my colleague mentioned some few things. Look, I don't know if she has been able to look at the bill, because when you take the bill, the object of this bill, when you read the memo that is being attached to the bill, the object says that the bill seeks to establish the value for money office, 1, to regulate, 2, to monitor, 3, to coordinate, 4, to promote and develop value for money assessment and enhance efficiency, transparency, and accountability in management of public expenditure and procurement. Honorable Speaker, this is what this bill is talking about. This bill is not talking about pricing of materials, and as she has stated, the bill is saying that we need an authority, a constitutional mandate that can allow us to be able to monitor and coordinate every money that is being spent on a project in this country. Mr. Speaker, let me say this. We were in this country where the previous or the erstwhile administration said they had an infrastructure development called the SkyTrain project. Mr. Speaker, about $2 million was dissipated for that project. But can we see a value that that money brought to the taxpayer? Mr. Speaker, I will repeat once again that the intention behind this office is to put up proactive measures, preventive measures that can even empower us as individuals, even my colleagues that are debating against this bill. This office can or seeks to give them the opportunity to question certain contracts or certain projects that have been announced in this country. Because when this bill is being passed, every Ghanaian can question the value spent by every government. This is not an office that is being created to work, no, as she's trying to, or she said that corruption is being moved from the contractors to a bureaucratic office. No, Mr. Speaker, about $400 million was spent on Agenda 111. Can any of the minority members mention a single hospital that is operational, even when about $400 million was signed out in this country? We cannot see any value for that man. My fellow colleagues who are debating against this bill or this motion are the very people who allowed that this Agenda 111 hasn't brought any value to Ghanaians. But if the same people today are saying that there's no need for this bill, Mr. Speaker, as young men, we need to stand. We need to have our stand, and we need to defend our stand. My colleagues today should not run away from the truth and try to paint this bill as just a bureaucratic office that is being intended to give job to the boys. No, Mr. Speaker. We are looking at corruption. We are fighting corruption, and we are securing value for every money that is being spent in this country. Mr. Speaker, the bill has already been passed last week. The bill has been passed. And so, Mr. Speaker, let my colleague members and my fellow minority members in this house to join us help this office to work. Mr. Speaker, before I end my statement or my comments, I want us to look at Article 34, Article 34 of the bill. The caption of Article 34 of the bill says pre-award value for money assessment. Mr. Speaker, when you read that clause, it states some activities that has to be done. 1, cost estimates. 2, we need to know the procurement plan. 3, we need to justify the value of every contract or of every project that is being or that has to be undertaken in this country. And Mr. Speaker, that it doesn't or the objectives of this clause cannot be seen in our Public Procurement Act, our audit, our internal audit, and their regulatory activities doesn't capture this. So, Mr. Speaker, there is a need for us to rally around this motion for this bill to be established. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Julius. Now, let's hear from Honorable Travis Gray.
Yeah, it's Travis Gray.
Yeah, Travis Gray.
Okay, so thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. My name is Carlos Tanakwejo Travis Gray from the Youth MP for Hohoe constituency. Mr. Speaker, today I have seen the reason why the minority always gather at either the CID or Yoko to support officials that are being figured in corrupt activities when they are being summoned or, let's say, arrested. Mr. Speaker, how can the minority say the value for money office is not necessary? Now, let's look at it in this way, Mr. Speaker. This office, when my fellow was talking, she made a statement and said the bill is to make to check uniform pricing, and then when there's a road construction at a certain place, it means they have to be the same pricing, which is not going to be possible, maybe in a muddy area or a rural area or urban area. This is simple. What they mean by that is that if you come to Accra or in a constituency like Hohoe, and then they are building a 6-unit classroom block in a particular area in Hohoe, and then a different classroom block is supposed to be built for another school with same design, it should not have a conflicting amount, because it is the same town. I don't think they are going to have a special place where the materials are going to be bought expensive than the one that is being used to construct the first one. They should understand that. If they understand it, it is good for them. Aside that, let's look at the Public Procurement Act that they were talking about. Their leader was talking about the Procurement Act and stuff like that. In the value for money office, what it seeks to do is to mandate, focus, structure, functions, and then goals. If all these things are being taken care of, this country is going to save up to 3 billion cedis a year. That is the goal of the office. 3 billion cedis a year. I don't think anybody would want to kick against something that would give a benefit, something that would help the economy grow. I don't think anybody would like to kick against it. Mr. Speaker, the minority should try and appreciate that this government is trying to manage this country so that the rot that we experience in the actual administration, where today we have to be chasing people to come and then account for whatever they have spent, and then they will have to be looking for ways and means to, clamp those under the pillow. We are trying to stop it. That is why the office is being created. We have to come together and support it, because so many countries are using this thing. United Kingdom, Australia is even there. Even Rwanda has the same. So I don't know why the minority would like to kick against a very, very important bill that would help this country save the country from inflationary costs of projects. Mr. Speaker, I am a project manager. So what they are saying, we know what they are talking about. And the truth of the matter is, the minority, they are seeing it that if this bill comes into action, they won't be able to get their payolas. They will not be able to get the payolas again. That is why they want to kick against it. If not, they would rather support this than to sit aside and be telling us that the bill is created to give another chance for office boys or party boys to come in. That is what they have in mind. It obviously speaks what they have in mind. So, Mr. Speaker, I would want the whole House to rally with us as majority so that this bill can be passed, so that the office of value for money would be in existence, so that the country can get to regulate and champion accountability in this country. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Honorable Travis. Now let's hear from Honorable Herbert.
The House, Mr. Speaker, good evening. My name is Honorable Herbert Dankwa. I'm the Director for International Affairs for this noble organization. And at the same time, I am a Member of Parliament for the Santimampong constituency. And Speaker, on this platform, kindly give me the permission to speak as neither as a majority caucus or a minority caucus, but with the authority of my position as the Director for International Affairs and a concerned citizen of this noble country of ours. So, Mr. Speaker, with your permission, if I may.
Honorable Herbert.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so if I understand you, you want to speak as a leader or
Yes. I want to
okay.
bring in my contribution because I don't want to speak in a form of debate, neither to speak against or to speak for, but to bring in our contribution from the leadership.
Okay. Honorable Herbert, are you
Yes,
also a
Speaker.
member? Are you also a youth MP?
Yes, I am a youth MP.
Very good. So if you are a youth MP, you should belong to a caucus, isn't it?
Speaker, yes. But one thing I've learned, even if not from the Speaker of Parliament, Right Honorable Sumana Bambagmin, but from other members, is that when there are clash of responsibilities, you choose to remain neutral so that you don't speak against the own caucus where you come from. So in this regard, I really wanted to bring in a perspective which I do believe it can equally be taken for consideration for the House.
Okay. So even if you play neutral, it doesn't mean that you would have to
I am not
be a
playing
leader.
neutral, Mr. Speaker. I am not playing neutral. But I want to set the premise that I am not speaking necessarily against, neither am I entirely for the motion. But I know that in caucus affairs, there is the need to tote one's stance. That is why I first made the point to speak from the aspect of the leadership. Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Herbert, would like to hear from you. We would like to have you speak neutrally, but then you having a different caucus, I don't think I'll give you that right. So you can just
Okay,
speak neutral.
sure, sure, Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, I listened to both caucuses' submissions, which I do believe is very great. But Speaker, there is one thing that I wanted to really draw the attention of the House. That in the submission of the Deputy Majority Leader, he said something which it didn't sit well with me, neither do I believe it will sit well with the entire minority caucus, that this this bill is currently being debated. For it to be adopted, either it will stand or not, we don't know. But we heard the Deputy Majority Leader speak. The motion has been adopted. Hence, they are calling for the other caucus to come and join them. Speaker, I do believe this is a house of record. If we allow certain statements of such to really run the affairs of the house, it may not be good for us. Unless Speaker, of course, he's speaking with a very back footing, which is very strong, that he knows what he's saying. If not, I think it should be something that, Speaker, you should have given attention to. And secondly, the motion was very clear that this house seek to adopt this bill for the establishment of value for money office. And honestly, the contribution that was given by the minority caucus, per what they are saying, it does not necessarily mean they are against it, but they are trying to draw to a point whereby the offices that exist currently are not able to perform their function. That is why, as a result of that, it is causing the whole idea of inflation of contracts. Because if the offices are supposed to be working proactively, there is no instance we are going to encounter figures being protruded or figures being increased just to attract such a bidding. Because, Speaker, look, kindly give me the permission that I have shared with the House the link for the Public Procurement Act. Even though this is an intellectual exercise, and at the same time we are speaking on our behalf, on the behalf of our constituents, but it is very critical that we peruse information and have a very solid understanding of our stance before we stand out wherever it could be to give in contributions. Because if we entirely do so, it is going to make whatever we seek to present very solid and candid. But Speaker, this seems to be on a different tangent. If you look at the Public Procurement Act, even if you look at the Public Procurement Authority, their website, it is boldly written the purpose of which it was established. It is to do the same work that the Value for Money Office has refused to do, or it is being introduced to do. Speaker, I gave the premise that I am speaking neither for or against, because the motion on itself is something that should have been reconsidered. But pardon me, Speaker, if you look at this same office that we are seeking to establish, and hence the bill we are pushing for, it comes to either replace the Public Procurement Authority and takes off its function as an independent institution, or it comes to rather be in the shadows of it. And Speaker, we all know that as Parliament, we are to make sure that we are not just bringing in additional laws, but rather we should make sure that the systems already existing are functioning properly and effectively. This is the situation. It hasn't been so. And we can have the majority caucus giving references to various countries that has similar structures or similar offices in place. The question is very simple. Are your structures and systems the same? Are they functioning as they are functioning in other countries? What are the checks and balances that are in place for those countries that can be applicable to our country? This and many other questions could follow, and the conclusion that can be drawn is very simple. The systems in Ghana isn't functioning properly. Hence, any additional office that is brought into power or it is brought into being will either function just the same or even worse than those that are already existing. So why then don't we move a bill, or why don't we bring forth a petition to the government to strengthen the entrusted with these mandates to deliver? Because I do believe that I am into project management as well. I am into real estate and construction. Whenever a project is brought on board, it has channels that it goes through. And for a figure to be approved, it is not necessarily a reflection, or it is not necessarily the responsibility of the public procurement authority to see to it that the figures are accurate or not. It comes from the first bidder down to the procurement authority. So what they seek to do is to validate and ascertain whatever is being brought on board. Is it really meant to function the same? Because you can't just give or append a signature for a project to proceed whereby it has not gone through thorough scrutiny. So the question then becomes, how can a project go through thorough scrutiny, but at the end we still have inflated figures? This is simply because the structures aren't strong enough to absorb all these. And Mr. Speaker, let me tell you that Cybersecurity Act was passed not long ago. There are certain informations that if you were to have, or if you want to have access to, it will either end up becoming a bottleneck, or simply because of the bureaucracies that will be entangled to it, it will end up distorting the progress. This is the situation we are talking about. Value. Value can't be quantified, as the minority member presented. It can't be quantified. And the more time is wasted or time is invested into a project, the value either increases or drops. So this is the situation that we are looking at, an office which will be able to quantify the value, but at the same time, the office may not have the necessary arsenals to put in place to make sure that what they seek to investigate into has necessarily been accomplished. Let's equally look at the impact that it brings. If you are looking at the office of the value for money to look into a government contract, let's say construction of a project, let's say a bridge, looking at the existential need for the project to be accomplished, there is going to be given a specific time frame. But because there is, let's say, a body which is coming in to see to it that everything is in place, I am sure there are humans, because the structures aren't strong. There are people who would like to sabotage the process. And Speaker, by the time we realize the project that was supposed to take a year, because they are supposed to go through certain checks to ascertain its relevance or its value, it may end up not meeting a target. But Speaker, at the same time, we should not forget that each project has a timeline. It is just like bomb. It has a timeline that is supposed to be delivered. If you are not able to work according to schedule or according to plan, you can't even quantify the value. So, Speaker, we are looking at diverse range of issues, and I do believe it still draws us back to a very fundamental questions. Are the systems strong enough? Because I do believe, and I come back to my point again, that if the systems are to be strong, public procurement agency will seek to it, or the authority will seek to it, that all logistics and procurement issues are being resolved, thorough scrutiny are being done, due diligence are being effectively ascertained and we have been able to measure that everything is in place, this is when we will be able to stand in as Parliament to even establish a committee to look into such issues as and when they come out. But Speaker, if we are to establish an office, then I do believe that we can equally strengthen the systems that are already existing and look into it, the loopholes that exist into them. Because if you are looking at procurement, then we should equally look into the office of the special prosecutor, because anytime issues are beyond them, it goes to them. And we should equally look at the auditor general, because it equally stretches to their wings. And government institutions, we shouldn't forget, Speaker, they work together to see to it that everything is functioning well in the system. And Mr. Speaker, as the Parliament, we have the role of oversight to see to it that all projects, programs are effectively accomplished. So, Speaker, the House, this is a noble plea. As I stated earlier, the bill on its own is something we should look into. We shouldn't just be so much into bringing in new bills. We should equally look into strengthening the existing institutions. As we talk now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor has no legal backing. These are some bills that we can move into to give them the backing so that we may not end up having additional body which directly or indirectly may function but may not end up meeting its needs. Speaker, this is a very critical concern from my perspective. And I do believe that as a house, if we really want to improve, we should stop or limit the essence of trying to debunk what has been submitted by the other and rather look into how we can come together to solve issues that are already withstanding. If the systems aren't strong, irrespective of the institutions we try to bring or revive, they may end up collapsing. So are you trying to say that all projects that are not being established, we should set up a committee or we should set up a body for each and every one of them to see to it that they are coming to power? If the Parliament is not functioning, does that mean that we should set forth a new office to see to it that Parliament is functioning? Why don't we strengthen the mechanisms that we use to oversee the real growth of the institutions to make sure that they are rather giving the ends of what they are expected to? So, Speaker and the House, this is my noble plea. Thank you. I so submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Herbert, for your submission. Now, let's hear from Honorable Evans Yebua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I think Honorable Albert I just spoken everything, and then what I just want to add to what he has said was basically the majority was arguing of our state institutions, current state institutions, not functioning well, and then their proposal was an establishment of a new institution to do whatever the current institution was supposed to be doing, right? So basically, if we are trying to give an analogy, it's basically saying that you have a car and then the car is not working, or there's a fault with the car, and then you're going for a new car to come and tow the car. You get, instead of fixing the engine of the car so that it can move, we are rather going to buy a new car to come and tow the car which has lost its engine, and then think that things are going to work or we are saving money, right? Also, when it comes to time value of money, I'm speaking from a finance perspective, right? So in time value of money, we have something we call the 3 E's. So we have the economy, we have the efficiency, and we have the effectiveness, right? So if we intend to establish a new institution, what then deals is that the economy, when it comes to time value of money, the economy aspect, which is doing something or achieving whatever objectives you want to do with the minimum cost, we are even flagging that rule, basically, because establishing a new institution is just going to incur cost. You are going to sink in money in there to create the institution, and then when we end up and then the institution is not functioning, it means you've incurred a cost and then whatever I wanted to achieve hasn't been done. You get it? So I believe in time value of money, you always want to make sure you are reducing costs, not incurring additional cost. Because bringing up a new institution means you are going to set up a new office, set up new salaries, set up new costs are coming onto the public purse, right? And I believe our current institution, our current mandate, from the Ministry of Finance to the Public Procurement Act to the Auditor General, there are a lot of rules and regulations there that has to be made to work. If they are not working, it doesn't mean we should create a new institution and give them that mandate. I think one honorable was saying that there's some regulation or there's some law which these institutions lack. The best way out is to bring that regulations into the already existing act. We can always amend act, bring in new rules, amend them, and then make it to work. Instead of bringing in a new institution where we are saying that the objectives of that institution for value of money office is to regulate, whilst we have a PPA that regulates to monitor, whilst we have the Auditor General, the Ministry of Finance, whose mandate is to monitor, whilst to coordinate. So I don't think most of the objectives that was used to set this office is basically it's already in existence and already given to current institutions. The only thing that we need to do now is make it to work. If the engine of the car is not working, you change the engine and then you give it a new engine so that the car will move. You don't go and buy a new car to come and tow the already existing car, all because you want the already existing car to move. So I think that is where we have to look at from. It's not really about bringing in new institutions. We can cite examples of creating of new institutions to come and do something, and in the end, we don't get the results we're looking for. I believe we had a setting right here in this house where we were talking about how corruption has increased and corruption is not reduced, even though we have the office of the special prosecutor. We argued this debate here, and today our majority has come back and then is saying that we have an issue with our value for money, so we have to come and establish a new institution. I believe the way forward, as Honorable Herbert said, is to look at it and then make sure existing structures are working instead of coming up with a new institution, because the office is going to drain you cost. And in the end, if you are not able to achieve whatever results you are going to, you're expecting to see, you have just sunk money into something that you are not really, you don't really know the outcome. Most of the outcomes the Honorable was saying that we are going to save 3 billion, they are just projections, they are not actuals. There's nothing to prove it we are going to get it. They are just projections you make. And most of these projections, they are uncertainties. There are a lot of, they can be achieved, they will not be achieved. There are a lot of policies, there are a lot of things that we've brought into this house that this is the outcome of it. And then in the end, you go and see the outcome, and then it is way low below the target. So I believe creating a value for money office, so it's not really the solutions to our problem. If we are looking for efficiency and then economic and then effectiveness in our spending in terms of our budget and everything, I don't believe the value for money office is the way forward. It's rather looking what we have and then strengthening them to make them work and achieve the results we are looking for, not go up here. Thank you, Honorable.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable. Now, let me hear from Honorable before Honorable Julius comes in. Honorable Hassan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, once again, Honorable Hassan Sindon Weyukwa, Youth MP, Sisala East constituency. Mr. Speaker, this bill is dead on arrival. And there's the need to withdraw the bill. We don't need to even do anything about it. Why am I saying so? Mr. Speaker, the Office of Special Prosecutor is an independent body set up to ensure there's value for money, to ensure there's no corruption in all government activities, including private sectors. the Economic Crime Office is set up to ensure that criminal activities, corrupt officials, everything is being what? If in case such things happen, they will prosecute them. They have that mandate. Value for Money Bill Office. Mr. Speaker, this is an additional office to the already we have several institutions who are working purposely for that. So now, are we equipping the already existed institution to work well, or we are creating more, which will also create confusion amongst those offices? So for me, this evening, Mr. Speaker, I think that this bill, we have to withdraw and go through thoroughly because it is criminal. That is why in my initial submission, I said it is an office they are creating because we know Ghana currently, there's a lot of unemployment in the system. And we know people need jobs. But Value for Money Office should not be a place for that because that is a very important thing. So there's the need to ensure that if the special prosecutor office is not doing its work, audit service is not doing its work, Public Procurement Act on in short, the Public Procurement Authority Office is not doing its work. We need to amend the Public Procurement Act to ensure that we incorporate this into it. If that is not there, but not to create another office which will have workers. In fact, I believe that in Ghana, it is not about how many institutions we create. We are not helping the already existing ones to function. And that is why we are struggling. So, Mr. Speaker, this bill should be withdrawn with immediate effect because it's dead on arrival. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable Al Hassan. I think that you saying the bill is a criminal offense, I think that should be expunged from the records because it doesn't speak well. So please, in as much as we are all debating, we need to also look at or mind our words that we use against our honorable members. All right, so let me hear from Honorable Julius.
All right. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity. I sincerely appreciate the input from my honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, to start with, my senior colleague, Honorable Hubert Dankwa, made a statement or followed up on a statement I made, of which I stated that the bill has already been passed, and my senior colleague said that it is necessary that we pay attention to the facts. And in his knowledge, except being proven, what I have said was a fallacy. And so, Mr. Speaker, I want to respond to that first. Mr. Speaker, if you can look at our page, the youth governance page, I place a screenshot of a newsletter from Joy News, which dates 25th March 2026. 25th March 2026, which states that Parliament passes value for money bill. As Honorable Speaker, it is on the strength of this newsletter. It's on the strength of this newsletter That is why I made that statement. And so I don't have any intentions to mislead the House. The majority caucus pays attention to facts, development, and we make sure that we provide the House with up to date and not to mislead the House with our information. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Secondly, Right Honourable Speaker, let's all understand that if we are looking at quality, the quality of everything has an expensive approach to it. If we are looking about quality, if we are looking about quality service, we are looking at of quality governance, we need to look at it in the context of maximizing our inputs so that we can get the best of results. Right Honourable Speaker, I said that this office isn't meant to take an at the second paragraph of the memorandum, the second sentence, it states that the Public Procurement Act 2003, Act 663, the Audit Service Act 2000, Act 584, and the oversight powers primarily Act 584 and the oversight powers of the Auditor General under Article 187 of the Constitution focuses primarily on procedural compliance rather than on whether public funds achieve value for money. I continue. Widespread concerns persist over inflated procurement costs, contract variations, and poor quality public sector project delivery. Ministries, departments, agencies, and district assemblies frequently negotiate contracts without standardized cost benchmarks, leading to consistent pricing across government. The cessation of operation by crown agents who traditionally conducted value for money assessment for government and the recent ad hoc use of other bodies for value for money assessment have further widened institutional gap in value for money assurance. Right, Honourable Speaker, in this country, we pay external people to do the same job for us. Our government pay external people to assess value for money for government projects. And so if government intends to institutionalize one of our own, why should we rise against it? Right, Honourable Speaker. If my colleagues pay attention clearly, the offices we are all saying that they are already in existence, it is being stated that their constitutional focus is primarily on procedural compliance and not to persist on value for money. So if I state that, or if I mention that the Auditor General and all the Public Procurement Act, their focus isn't on seeking value for money, please, this is the source of my information. This is the source of my information. I didn't craft it by myself. And I am speaking based on facts. And so, Right Honourable Speaker, let us not make it obvious as if government intends to create another institution to conflict with another institution. No. When you look at Article 41 of the bill, that is why in my opening statement or in my first submission, I asked that my colleagues should look at the bill. So when you look at the bill, it will answer certain questions, certain doubts that you have. But I think failure to do so, that is why my colleagues still have these contrary views. When you look at the Article 41 of this bill, clause 1 says that there is established by this act a joint coordinating committee comprising one representative each from the office of one Auditor General, Internal Audit Agency, and the Public Procurement Authority. And so this should tell us that this institution has come to cement, to bring all those other offices together for us to check the value for every cedi that we spent, the value for the taxpayers' money, the value for our market, the value for the money that our market women pay. So, Right Honourable Speaker, I understand the position of my other colleagues. I understand the position of my other colleagues. We are not buying a new car. No. We are not buying a new car. We don't intend to change engines. What we are doing is, this bill is trying to bring all other offices together, or this institution will work collaboratively with all other institutions to insist on every cedi that is being used in this country. And I believe that, or I hope that my other colleagues should be clapping for government for this bill, because for the first time in this country, government is being intentional on demanding on the value of resources that we entrust in their hands to manage. So, Right Honourable Speaker, we are not trying to take, or we are not trying to conflict responsibilities of other institutions. These institutions' main objective is to insist that the value of my brother, the value of every tax my brother Hubert pays, the value of every tax any individual that tries we don't intend to see, or we don't intend to achieve, such an individual can be brought to justice. And so I urge my colleagues to come around, and we will all rally around this motion and vote in favor of this motion, that this office should work, and this office should do its work to give the value we all want in Ghana. Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Julius. Let me hear from Miss. Please give me 1 minute. Let me hear from Miss Flexi. I think your name will be corrected at the clerk's table. So
Yes.
when you just introduce yourself, and then the clerks will proceed. After that, I'll hear from Honorable Herbert. All right, now the floor is yours, Miss
Thank you very
Flexi.
much, Honorable Speaker and Honorable Members. I want to say to the Honourable who just spoke, yes, this you are saying you don't intend to confuse or conflict the institutions, but I'm telling you what you are actually doing now is you are delaying roads, you are delaying hospitals, you are delaying schools. This is what this bill you want us to pass is going to do. The bill you are insisting we support pass is not going to do us any good. It's actually first and foremost going to slow down national development. Every contract must pass through value for money office. Every pricing dispute will require review from this same office. We are talking about every variation that must be justified to a central authority. What do we get with this? All these things is going to delay processes for development. We are already lacking behind. Two, another thing this whole brouhaha of an office bill being passed, we are going to suppress innovations. Uniform pricing discourages or scrutinizing the pricing will actually even discourage creativity. Contractors and engineers who want to use better materials, introduce new construction techniques, improve quality beyond the minimum, may be constrained by your standardized pricing limits or requirements. And this will bring, in fact, it will question what we are even trying to look at. It will not make it will suppress people's ability to innovate, people's ability to work out of the known way. It's now going to look at one-way streets where everybody will have to run to, and it won't work because this whole thing is going to make it look like everything that is above the standard they are given is going to be flagged as excess. This will also create anything that is below the standard is going to be flagged as not adequate enough, and this will create dangerous incentives. Do do the do we say that the minimum required is not the possible best? Is that what we are asking? I want us to say, let's suggest that the institutions that exist already should be given smarter alternatives or rather creative new ways to work to make sure that what we are looking for and thinking this office can do better, they are done. One, let's strengthen all the existing procurement laws. Let's put in more efforts. Let's make them more enforceable. Let's digitalize and publish all contracts publicly. These are things that we will do that will bring it to the known. Everybody gets to know about it. Everybody gets to find out about it, read more, and then this will push the work to be done well, rather than putting it in one person's office and making sure that person gets it done. In fact, it is going to breed more corruption in fact, I've already stated, it is just moving corruption from the contractors to the regulators. I've already stated. Let's empower independent auditing bodies so that whatever we are doing is already audited. It's not that we are going to let just this office do the auditing, just this office. In fact, we are going to, I've already said, I keep coming back to it. It's just the transfer of, what's the word? The transfer of, why am I losing the word? The word is not coming. Oh, I've lost the word, sorry. We are transferring from the constructors, like I said, to the regulators. We are only transferring, what's the word? I'm losing my word. Corruption from one place to another. We are only moving corruption from one place to another, from one basket to another basket, and ensuring we are changing hands for who does the corruption. Because we feel these people have done it and have had it enough. So let's give it to these people to also enjoy some. That's what you people are trying to do. And it's not going to work. So let's look at smarter ways of making sure that smarter approach or alternatives. That's strengthening existing procurement, digitalize the and publish all contracts publicly, empower independent auditing, and then let's enforce strict penalties for violations. This is basically the way we can go, rather than bringing a whole new institution and spending more money on it. Please, more so there's also the administrative overheads that is going to cost us, apart from even the human resources we are going to spend on all these, the expertise and all that we are going to now bring out, waste the money, spend the money, and then at the end of the day, they do the work that is supposed to be done by an existing institution. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and my honorable members. I am Irene Teddy, Efutu constituency.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Irene. Now let's okay. Honorable Travis Gray, let's hear from you. Honorable Irene, kindly mute.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. It seems Honorable Irene is trying to put into us um, a certain understanding which she herself is comfortable in. Now, we cannot say that this office would limit, um, how do we call it, innovation. No, I don't think this office is there to limit innovations or prevent people from bringing innovative ideas in constructions or constructing uh, projects. Now, what this seeks to do is that we are trying to say that we want to regulate the habit of value for money. Okay, if you bring a design, architectural design for a project, and then we see that the design you've brought suits the amount, I don't think the office of value for money will say, oh, no, 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 go back and then cut the cost. I know by all means that the officers that are going to work in those offices know that we have trending or innovative ways of doing things or innovative ways of doing the construction work. There are new designs, there are new innovations that are coming up. So obviously, those would come up in the processes of doing bringing up your estimate or budget for the construction. Now, the office is there purposely to know that if we use the new or the updated innovation, the money spent on that innovation is accurate, is best for the design you've brought. Now you don't tell me that okay, I want to build a single room self-contained, and then I'll be tiling inside. Now the tiles that I'm going to use, I want to use. I'm just stating an example. A tile that you can take off and then clean and put back. If a technology or an innovation like this is there, what is the benefit? It means that that tiles will not be changed soon. It means you can bring it back and then put it back, clean it and put it back. Value for money. So that house will be there for a very long time. Than to come and then give a quotation for the same project whereby the tiles cannot be removed and cleaned, and then you bring a budget for that kind of project. That is what the office is saying. And I want you to kill the notion in your brain that is saying that we are trying to move corruption from the contractors to the office. That is a very wrong perception, and I urge the house to Mr. Speaker, I want you to let the table office, they should expunge that from her statement. It has to be expunged from the records because the, there is no way the office is going to be a corrupt office. It is there to make sure that things are done right. We are trying to prevent the normal way of doing projects where today they do a project here and then the project costs so and so amount of money, and then when they are doing the same project, example is the one of the astroturfs that I learned was constructed in this country for 30 million or so. I am not too sure of the figure, but they said the same project was constructed outside of this country even lesser. So if the office of value for money is available in this country, what makes you think that we are moving the corruption from the contractor to the office? What makes you think so? I think this house, we have to come together and applaud the government for bringing this initiative, for bringing this kind of innovation that would help us to understand or to appreciate value for money, to appreciate transparency in everything we do. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
All right. Thank you very much, Honorable Travis. The floor is still open for debate. Honorable Herbert, the floor is yours.
Speaker, thank you very much. Yes, let me state it on record that I was not against the motion. I've not been against the bill. But before I come to that, let me go to my honorable deputy majority leader, Honorable Julius Aguha. His opening speech for when he was giving the floor was simply to rebut the statement I made earlier. But Speaker, if you could recall my words clearly, I stated that this house, because that was his premise, this house has adopted the bill, but it hasn't been so. If you say this house, unless you are referring it in the spirit of national parliament, that is what will make your statement stand. But so far as the house was even looking for minority leaders to speak and we're not getting, for you to say on authority that the bill has been adopted by this house, it was very flawed, and that was where my words came from. So thank you for that. And Speaker, I equally requested that the bill should be furnished to the house for record's sake and for additional insight, because I do believe that some of the arguments that was made was just on preemptive analysis of how things are supposed to be, but they are not how they are ought to be. So, Speaker, is being shared by the Deputy Majority Leader, which I do believe is brave. But at the same time, Speaker, I made a very critical statement that I think we should look into it. My statement was very clear that we as the national parliament, we shouldn't be in the haste to be passing or introducing new bills, whereby those bills that are coming in are in to fill a void that could have easily be filled by strengthening the institutions that are already in existence. Honestly, I followed through the bill, but I didn't read it completely. But after Honorable Julius said, I had the time to go through to some extent. And I could realize that it is very crucial that the office is being established, as I stated earlier, but the intent and the results is going to be different. It's going to be different because let's make a critical analysis here. From the logical perspective, if we as a country are not able to get people from the institutions that are required to give results onto a certain problem, and we rather opt out of the country to bring in so-called experts to come and review the value for money of our country, then I do believe it is a pure failure to the government and to the citizens entirely. Because one, we have people that are being trained specifically for the same purposes that people are being called from outside the country to come and fulfill. And it is a very displeasing statement, or it is a very displeasing moment for us as a country to see, not just in contracts, but in all other things. We have worry. How do we expect to deliver the results that the citizenry need? The citizenry is equally concerned about how their monies are being spent, what they are being used for, and at the end, what they are getting out of it. Because we are in a situation whereby the systems aren't allowing us to even showcase the same skills that system has introduced into us. And that has been the flawed analysis that has been carrying the country for decades. We are not against we bringing people from outside, but the question is, what caused them to come? Speaker, what caused them to come? If we are able to issue a government contract for a skyscraper, whatever they call it, a train or an express train, and we as a country couldn't initiate to the extent that we will have those value being churned out, it is a total failure to the auditors general. It is a total failure to the PPA, which is the Public Procurement Authority. It is a very flawed, analysis to equally bent on, even from Parliament, because we are the same institutions. Parliament has committees that sit to specific issues. We have ad hoc committees that are already given the authority to probe into situations, to probe into problems. The question is, where are their solutions and how far does it go? And my only fear is this office we are bringing into existence. What is our guarantee that it is going to serve its purpose? Of course, in paper, it looks so appealing. In fact, it looks so perfect beyond statement to state that the office will perform its function. But is that what has been happening? Speaker, I read a clause in the Value for Money Office Act. And one thing I saw was it was just like a copycat of some of the responsibilities of Public Procurement Authority that has been put in here. And Speaker, I don't seek to blame the essence of this bill. What I seek to juxtapose is this bill that has been brought into being, it is not going to function effectively due to the parameters that I'm about to set. One, the same institutions that they are going to coordinate with, they are already flawed and inefficient systems that they are operating with. So, Speaker, if I went to buy a car and I told you that, Speaker, I bought this car for 2 billion cedis, what you are going to probe into is whether it is 2 billion or not. And before I will make that statement, I will see to it that whatever source that it came from is equally being on the same page as I am. These are real issues, Speaker, that we are talking about. The House, these are real issues that happens out there. And I do believe anyone, any member of parliament who has been exposed to how dirty the dealings are out there will see this bill as very good, but will be inefficient because the same problems it seeks to solve will end up becoming a different avenue for people to be either defaming what has been established, to either distort what is in progress, or to either bring to halt what has already been established. And I do believe that, Speaker, this office can function effectively only and only if the existing institutions that we have now are able to function as they are expected to. And that is when it will make their work very easy for them. Speaker, again, looking at the composition of this office, you could see we will have a rep from the auditors general. We will have a rep from the the Public Procurement Authority. The question is, what are they coming to do? I do believe they are coming to add up to strengthening the purpose that it seek to serve. But at the same time, these are the same people that they are going to be presented from their existing organizations or institutions that are not functioning, Speaker. It is very clear to us that always the results that we see is what either the media or the government or the stakeholders want us to see. But the ones on ground, Speaker, are not even available for the public to know. And Speaker, one thing that we as the citizenry are always vulnerable to is figures. The figures are rather stated and people don't really pay attention. Speaker, this is very evident in the presentation of budget statements from the SWA government, even to the current government. We could see that figures are being mentioned, but the real touch with the issues that the figures are speaking to has been lost. And this is the situation we are being swamped in, this whole analogy of the figures being the reality on ground, but it has not been so, Speaker. The systems are very porous to the extent that money that the same value for money that we seek to achieve, we can end up compromising it. My question is always simple. What are we putting in place to strengthen this same institution? Because I do believe that it is going to be, as usual, one of the trial and error kind of approach that we are going to use. It is later that we are going to see, let us amend this, let us do this to strengthen it. The Speaker, one thing we seek to do as a house, or the relevance of this bill so far as is concerned, is to see to it that those monies that are not being accounted for, those figures that are being inflated, are first of all right. But Speaker, let me at the same time borrow from one contribution. I don't know who made it, whether was from the minority or the majority. The person stated that there are certain things that can be made available to the public. So it brings to bear the question of our modus operandi. Even if I do always give the credence to Right Honorable Sumana Bagbin, because he has been able to bring transparency to bear to a certain level that the whole public has information. So access to information is the key burden or the key pivot for us to ensure that we have value for money. Because if this office is going to operate as the same ones that we know, then we can bet it that it is going to be doomed as the same ones that are existing. Speaker, let us look into this critically. As a parliament, we don't achieve anything if only our metrics is on the bills that we've been able to push for into existence. But we at the same time forget to see to it that these bills that are being assented and they are passing, they are rather working as they are supposed to. Speaker, later, this same value for money office will be brought back to Parliament. We will be asked to ask them questions. There will be discrepancies. We will establish an ad hoc committee to look into it and bring our findings, and it will go back and forth and come back onto us. What has it solved for the citizens, Speaker? Let us look into this from the prosperity angle, rather than we looking at the immediate concerns that it may seek to address. Let us equally borrow from the countries that was listed, even in the act, that these countries are already functioning. What are they doing right? What aren't they doing right? Them. These
Albert said right. So I would like to state that the minority is not against having value for money for whatever transactions or operations that we do as a government, but I believe the method or the procedure to which we want to achieve this value for money is what we are against, right? Or is what we are trying to speak against, because we believe that if we institute this office, the question I think Herbert tried to echo that in his summation, saying that who is going to watch this institution? You get this. Once we set the institution up, are we going to come up again to also get another institution to come and monitor that institution? You get it, because we have records, or we have instances where this has become the norm that we go through. We set up institutions, they fail. We set up new ones to come and monitor, and then they fail. So I believe that the way forward is to strengthen existing structures instead of bringing on new ones. You get it. And I think another thing that I think Miss Flexi was also trying to echo in his submission that I picked was, once you bring in a new layer of an institution to come and do monitoring and regulations, it's also going to increase the time or duration for the whole procurement process and then the whole project process. You get it. And I think Honorable Herbert and then the Miss Flexi were trying to raise those issues. You get it. Once you bring in a new layer for approval, for regulations, for monitoring, it's going to bring another additional time to whatever procurement process we already have. And I don't think that is something that we are looking for. We are looking to streamline processes, make process effective and efficient. We're not trying to bring on new challenges, because once we set up this office, this is basically come with, or is basically bring new challenges and new problems coming on. You get it. And I believe the minority has argued that we are not against time value of money, or we are not against achieving the value for money for whatever we do, but the method that or the approach that we intend to do, or we intend to use in achieving that value for money, is something that we need to look at again, and then we have better alternatives to achieving that. And even, for example, we believe that currently this year we have had instances where the Ministry of Finance has they've cancelled most of the payment that were supposed to be made by doing value for money audits, whatever project or whatever bills that they came to meet. And I think this is something that we can do. We have evidence right here in our faces, in our nose, of processes or institutions that are trying to be effective by looking at bills they came to meet, and then they audited it and tried to see which ones were supposed to be paid, which ones were not supposed to be paid. You get it? So I believe that is the way forward. The way forward is making institutions work and not trying to bring in new institutions that we don't have whether they are going to achieve or they are not going to work. So that is what we want to say. We are either going to delay the process, the whole process of procurement and projects. We are going to incur more cost for setting up these new offices. Whilst they are the same people, they are just basically going to use the same people to come in to do the work instead of trying to structure them. You get it? Because once we are going to move somebody from the Ministry of Finance, from PPA, from audit to go and work, they are going to be paid extra money for whatever work they are going to do. So instead of making them work more, you are going to pay them more to do whatever work you have assigned to them to do already. And then they are not doing, and then you are just giving them extra money so that they can work. And I don't think that's what we want to do, right? So if you want to really achieve value for money for whatever we want to do, we want to reduce cost. We want to build on efficiency, making our system work, whatever resources we currently have. We make sure the output of that resources is more than the input we are trying to put in. You get it? And putting in more revenue or putting in more institutions is just going to increase your cost and not really reduce your cost. So I believe that is the way forward. And that is what the minority has always been arguing about, that the approach to solving whatever problem that we want to solve is not the best approach, right? And then we believe that we strengthen the existing infrastructure and then existing institutions to work rather than bringing on an additional institution to come and complicate things for us. Thank you very much, Honorable.
All right, thank you very much, Honorable Evans. Now, I think that should be all. We need to now wrap up. So let's hear the closing remark from the majority leader and then the minority leader.
Speaker, I think since majority took the lead to for the opening statement. So you can take that of the closing remarks from the minority, and then the majority will, accordingly submit their position as well.
Okay. Honorable Herbert.
Speaker, thank you very much. Speaker, I would like to draw the House's attention to something very key. It should be on record that today's sitting does not have on board the minority leadership. Because we can't have a sitting whereby the leadership isn't even ready to contribute to the affairs of the House. Speaker, it's high time we take responsibility and act accordingly as we are supposed to. Just as the majority leader just said, the opening statement, mostly in Parliament, it's expected to come from both caucuses, but because of their absence, that was skipped. But Speaker, we can't keep on skipping the affairs of the House just because we don't have the leadership at hand. And I do believe it is not a very good practice that we should encourage. Speaker, please, humbly, if it could please you, kindly say something to them so that they know that the affairs of the House shouldn't be run on tenterhooks. We can't keep on having their silence and their absence always during sitting. It is not good for the affairs of the House. This is a house of records. If posterity is to take records one day and see and realize that we didn't even have the minority leadership during sitting or during session, what are we going to say? Does that mean that any resolution we make does not hold? Does that mean that the contributions we've made has no relevance? It doesn't mean so. So please, Speaker, let your people be proactive. They are responsible not for themselves alone, but for the people that they represent. Let this be that it will not be a habit that is constantly encouraged in this house. Speaker, each and every one is here. We have youth ministers here. We have leadership here. Each and every one has something that possibly they could be doing. The speakership themselves, they are in here. Possibly they were busy doing something. But this is a call to responsibility that we shouldn't keep on shirking from it. So, Speaker, this is my concern that I wanted to troop in. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. My voice was sweet.
No,
The leadership of the parliament will work on it, and then, but then before we receive our closing remark, let me quickly now bring my boss, the Right Honorable Honorable Right Honorable Amadashi Viglo, to take the seat or the platform now.
First Deputy Speaker, please, do you mean the Right Honorable Speaker is taking the chair?
Yes, honourable members, thank you very much. I thank colleagues for debating. Honourable members, I'll go straight for it to put the question. Since the motion has been debated extensively, I'll go ahead to put the question on the motion. Honourable members in favor of this motion, say aye.
Aye.
A second, leader. Can I hear you?
Eh, Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. I think for the records, majority was ready for his closing remarks before.
I thought
Um,
you had already
not
given the remarks.
no. First Deputy Speaker
Then,
was about giving the floor when you. I don't have much to say. However, I just want to draw the House attention that for Hansa to capture, not as though the majority wasn't ready to table their or to submit their closing remarks. And so
proceed.
to
Now,
make
that
it
was the second deputy speaker, not the first
the
deputy.
second deputy speaker, actually, second deputy speaker. So to make it brief, I wasn't through the conversation, but I will thank all honorable members, especially those who debate against the motion, because I think they've raised few genuine concerns that need to be put in place that will help us guide the bill that is into force. So I believe that all their concerns are being taken note of, and then not alone, they raised questions that we can strengthen the existing offices to be able um, to be able to make this system work of the procurement processes and to avoid contract inflation and then all that. However, we can also what the minority has failed per the last conversation I've heard is uh, the steps. The steps. How are we going to strengthen the existing authorities to be able to help us achieve what we are looking at for? There was a time ago we were debating where majority even was disagreeing vehemently with minority that the office of the special prosecutor must go. And then the minority argued that no, let us give them the opportunity because they have proven and have shown few results of which we can label on that and give them opportunity and give them the resources and give them the necessary office staff that they need to be able to deliver on their mandates. And so I believe that strengthening them alone may not be able to do it. However, this bill is in the right direction as a country. It's in the right direction. We only need to look at the checks and balances and make sure they also deliver on their mandate. And the same Ghanaians who are calling for this office, the same Ghanaians who are going to criticize it if they are not delivering on their mandate. I haven't taken a full look at this bill, but then I watched proceedings when they were debating it. I even realized that the minority in parliament could not even have enough, any opposition against this bill. So I believe that as a country, it's going to help us, going forward. I don't have much to say. I'll end it here, Speaker, so you can put the question. And I want to thank the members who have given their input against the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, leader of the House. Honourable members, I put the question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Ah,
Aye.
Not in favor of the motion, say nay.
Nay.
No.
Nay.
No.
Honourable members,
Ẹ̀yọ̀ mú tùfẹ́.
I think the ayes have it.
Thank you.
yeah.
Honourable members, the ayes have it, the motion carries. Therefore, this Honourable House has adopted the motion as entreated or stated by the leader of the House. Honourable members, we'll go to any other business. I don't think the people we are expecting addresses from are here. Honourable members, I'm going to state it blank as it is. And I know whatever I'll say will reflect on what has even happened, even in the other branches. My first deputy speaker has become too busy and is not available for job. It is affecting me. If he is not present at the next sitting, he'll be replaced. Because the job is to be done by 3 people. That is why there are 2 deputies. So if he will not avail himself, he will be replaced. I gave a similar pressure to the second deputy and she was replaced. Now we have an active second deputy. I will not tolerate this at the next sitting. If Honorable Malay will not avail himself due to his busy schedules, he can remain an MP, but the role of first deputy speaker should be given to someone who is at post and can avail him or herself. The same way, I want to put it to the leaders to examine their whips and deputies if they are up to tax. If they are not up to tax, let's change them all. Leadership is no joke, because when the people are not active online, physical sittings, and even on WhatsApp, then they have no business playing a leadership role. They should remain as members and allow the active people to take up the leadership roles. So, leader of the house, please examine your leaders, both majority and minority. If someone is not up to tax, let's call them and tell them that if they don't avail themselves at the next online sitting, we will unanimously by resolution take the leadership role from them, elect or appoint new leaders to replace them at the next sitting. I want to verbally express this to you all. We will replace them all at the next sitting if they don't avail themselves, especially for the ones who have not been present at previous sittings except the inauguration of the second parliament. We will replace them all at the next sitting if they don't avail themselves. They should just be MPs and let people who mean business take up the leadership roles. Leader of the House, any comments on this?
Speaker, let me support you. I will support you on this cause. I think when I joined, my overhead Honorable Herbert stressing on some of this issue on the part of the minority. And then I believe that we need to look at this on both sides of the house and then get the very active people to do the job. I understand you, I know you, and I know what you do. And so if we don't have the deputy, especially the first deputy speaker, that will be assisting you, I know how difficult it will be for you. And so I agree with you. I had wished that the minority will be here so that, because I will move a motion in our next sitting, as you rightly said. I will, if that pleases you, and you give me the go ahead, I will move a motion. I will actually table the motion before the next sitting, so that it will be captured. It will be captured on the order of the day. So once the motion is being moved, and it is a resolution of the House that inactive leaders should be booted out, I think it is a good call, and I support it. I support it because I know how frustrating it is when you are looking for people to assist with jobs while others are having the title and not availing themselves. Myself, I have not been available for this particular sitting, but then I had to tell my deputy ahead of time, and he has actually prepared for the debates and also to lead the caucus in debating the motion. However, by the time I joined, he also have to draw and then go and chair another meeting somewhere. So the moment I joined back, and then he also went off. This tells us that we all have our stuff that we do. We are all busy,
as Honorable Herbert rightly said, if you want to say that you are busy and so you may not be able to attend, you can still be available if you still want to be in leadership. And so I think it's a good call. I will not have much to say, but then once you give me the go ahead, I'll table the motion before our next sitting. And I'll also call them and get them informed so that it wouldn't come as a surprise to them. I thank you.
Exactly, that is in order. That's what I'm saying. Let's first identify those people, call them and inform them. If they don't show up at the next sitting, it's a full business that we are going to do. By resolution, we will not kick them out of the house, but the position will be taken, the leadership positions will be taken from them. And then we'll replace them at that sitting, just as we did for the second deputy speaker. We replace them at that sitting. So, yes, that is rightfully in order. Honourable members, any other comments on this issue? Is there anyone who has comments on this particular subject matter? Yes, Honourable Travis.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I think the leaders of the House often have to, as well, go through some form of orientation. I know definitely the leadership do organize those things for them, and if that is being done and then they are still not getting to understand the necessity of they being available to chair the business of the house, we are being groomed to become one day future MPs and people to hold other high ranking positions. The attitude you put towards what you start with can reflect, if you don't take care, reflect in your future endeavors. So I think it is appropriate that a letter be sent or a communique be sent to them ASAP for them to know. I don't even want us to even come back to come and debate on the motion or about they not being. You already know the person is not active. If you give them the chance to come, they'll come and show the activeness for 1 or 2 times again, and then they'll leave. So immediately just change them, do the necessary changes, tell them that you see that they are not active, because these are the reasons, some of the reasons why some issues are coming up. The meetings we had some days ago with respect to some controversies. These are some of the things. You are not active, but you are expecting something to come from somewhere, So immediately you just change the person. So that the person will know that, okay, next time when you are being given the position, you make sure you are active and you do well with what you are supposed to do. That being said, I also support that any disciplinary action be taken against the said individuals. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Honourable members, any other comments? Okay. In the absence of any other comments, Leader of the House, please, I'm directing you to investigate the dormant leaders, including the First Deputy Speaker. Communicate to them of the worry of the House and let them know that if they don't avail themselves and convince us why they should be maintained, they will be replaced with immediate effect at the next sitting. That is happening next month. Next month, first week. The first week of next month. we are holding that sitting. They have to convince us why they should be maintained. If they don't convince us, if they are not present, it's automatic replacement. If they are present, they have to convince us why they should be maintained. And then the House will take a decision on that. So I so direct. Honourable members, the status of the youth government system, as you all know, the judiciary is dormant. The dormancy of the judiciary can be attributed to the fact that we don't have an active judicial system, in the sense that we don't have even an established youth Supreme Court. Okay, the current Chief Justice as well is dormant. So we'll write a letter to Her Excellency to look for a replacement for the Chief Justice. And then the other judiciary, I think it will be in order for us to have them and even vest them properly before they assume the role. As you know, there is a new youth president, of which there is a little issue there. I believe after the dust settles, we'll hear the new youth president and see the way forward in revamping the new youth government, the new youth ministers. The issue of appointment letter has been raised, and yes, we haven't started yet because there are still amendments ongoing. But I think by next month we can finalize the current list, which is around 156 MPs. And then our former second deputy speaker, Victoria, is the one who helps us with the letter. We'll share the list with her and she'll get the letters for us. The formation of the committees, please. Honourable members who have been confirmed have still not added their details to the committee list. For the committee list, if you don't add your details, we are not adding you. Because if you are not active enough to even add your details to the committee you want to be part, how it is going to change if we add you without your consultation that you are going to be active in such a committee? So if you do not put your details in a committee of interest, you are not going to add you to such committee. It's only the leaders who have automatic membership. That is why the activism of the leaders is very important for us. Apart from them, if you don't add your details to the committee list, you are not adding into that committee. Leader of the House, please be posting the committee list for members to be updating themselves. I think if we have at least 2 for each committee, we can form the committee. So please, I know you are busy, but I know you can do that for us as well. I know you can do that for us as well. Honourable members, as you may already know, I'm a presiding officer elsewhere as well, but I'm still here. And I work as well in school as well. So for members to not be active, this thing is all about priority. It's all about priority. I think the least said the better. The least said the better. So honourable members, any other business, the House is open for any other business.
Speaker.
Yeah.
I think one of my concern has been addressed already. That has to do with the leadership and the commitment on the part of members. And so I will just move straight to the second one. You and I are aware about the little crisis we are having in the executive arm, of which they want to extend that to us. And then you have to stand your ground together with you so that the youth parliament, wouldn't be affected. I feel like it will be prudent that we have few legislation, and I believe that this house should be looking out. Should be looking at legislative instrument or few regulations, because some of the things that needed to govern us is not stated explicitly in our constitution, in the constitution of the United Nations Security Council Resolution 2250. And so I will have further engagement with you, but then I think I want to just put this before the House. We need to put to get some legal framework that will govern the parliament and as well the executive arm, because we have to take the step based on the things I've experienced so far. If we've not taken any step, Mr. Speaker, it's going to happen tomorrow again, and they have to take a step back, and all our efforts of today will also just be swelled down. And so let's look at coming up with a little legislation. I don't know whether it should be a CI or LI, whether a constitutional instrument or a legal instrument, to just complement some of the things that are stated in the broader constitution. Since we don't have those words to word, few regulations that will guide the House, one, and that will also guide the executive arm, especially what is happening now, so that the executive arm cannot be doing anything just on their own. But then once they try it, they have with the legislators that can also call them to order. And having that as well is going to help the judiciary also function, because the judiciary, as we stated, is dormant. I would say that there is no much work for them to do, except for someone who is more likely to be creative. That is, I mean, to put up something for themselves and for the judiciary. There is no work for them to be doing. If we say we are setting up the youth court, there is no legislation for them to look at for someone. So issues like this just happened. I don't believe that the youth ministers would have just gone out with a petition. This petition would have gone straight to court, the youth Supreme Court, or to the youth judiciary to look at the matter, and probably, and I'm sure that we probably would have dealt with this matter indoor closed doors without having discussed this matter openly. So I want to call on the speaker that the parliament must take a step. I know we are all busy, but once we said we are doing legislation, we can do it. We can do it. We get approval from the global president, which I believe will be easy for us. We get it. They will also peruse. That will be the engagement, the consideration. They will all have to consider it, look at it clause by clause. We'll have it drafted, and then I believe it will help us to legislate. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, Hansard Department. I want us to also, the youth government system. I believe it is not the only youth parliament. Some of us are um, privileged to have joined, and so I believe that um, if for nothing, votes and proceedings, we should be having them every sitting, and then having corrected them and moving on. Because if we say the house is house of records, we say it and go. Next week when we come, we don't even have any votes and proceedings. We don't have Hansard to look at that. Last week, this was what Honourable Speaker directed the majority leader to do. It will just be a mere word, and then it will just be washed down by time. And so I believe that we can the clerk, the table office should please also up their game and get us votes and proceedings for every sitting. I don't know how that is going to be done, but I believe they can do it. Now AI is there. Once you get this doctored video, you'll be able to generate a votes and proceedings from the video. So they can please also up their game. Secondly, I also have a little concern. I raised it on the leadership platform. The clerk to parliament in charge of publicity should also help us in that regards. Today I was disappointed. In the morning, I didn't come online early. When I came, there was no publication that today we are sitting. Speaker would have to come again and tag the post of the previous day and say today is our sitting. Please, they should help speaker, and so that it shouldn't be labeled on only one person. This is a little I have to say to the House. Speaker, I thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Leader, just contact me and share with me the framework of each legislation you suggest, and we'll get it as a document that we can peruse. So just share the framework of each legislation and we'll find a way to make it a document for the House to pass. Honourable members, any other issues? Yes, Miss Angela, Deputy Clerk Operations.
Okay, so Mr. Sampson spoke about the publicity, and I want to assure the House that we'll be working on that. Yes, that's what I have to say.
Thank you. So, Angela, what about the Hansard? Because you are the second in command after the clerk.
Okay, so we'll work on that too.
Thank you very much.
And the assurance is that from our next sitting, we are getting our hands at.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honourable members, any other business? Honourable members, may I express the appreciation of the House to all of you who have come forth to this sitting. It's good that you have shown commitment to this cause. This initiative started by Her Excellency Reverend Dr. Lilian Saliado is that is booming with opportunity. And if you do your job well, there will surely be a place for you to grow. Let's remove our sentiments, because if you could have done it, you'd have done it. Since someone has done it, let's follow and make it happen. Honourable members, in the absence of any business, you're all in my hands, so no motion has to be moved and seconded because you are in my hands. Honourable members, the House is duly adjourned to next month, first week, at a date proposed by leadership at Leadership Conclave. This House do not stand adjourned. Thank you.